Thank you so much for joining Conversations with Cohen. I'm your host, Greg Cohen, Office Leasing Specialist at Cressa. And this podcast is for office tenants to help educate them about all things regarding their offices, from leasing to architecture and everything in between. Whether you're an entrepreneur thinking about your first office or a director of real estate managing a large real estate portfolio, this podcast is for you. I've got a very interesting show for you today. My guest is David Wiltshire-Craine, the owner of Mr. Hudson's Cleaning. We're going to be talking about, you guessed it, cleaning. A crucial topic in a COVID world, for everyone, frankly. As this show is focused on all things office, we'll be talking about inside your physical office and the spaces between when you leave your home and you get to work, namely the commute. I think it's a topic that many of us perhaps took for granted or didn't appreciate 6 months ago, and now it's front and center. If you want to reach me, I'm at Greg Cohen NYC on Instagram, and if you're new to this video series or podcast, hit the subscribe button below so you never miss a future episode. Today I'm very excited to be joined by David. If you don't know him, he's become a referral partner of mine and is the owner of Mr. Hudson's Cleaning. His story resonates with me because, much like me, he had previous business experience that helped him see an opportunity that existed in the market. In his case, the level of service for the cleaning of his previous businesses' offices didn't meet his expectations. So 8 years ago, he started Mr. Hudson's Cleaning, which focuses on commercial and residential spaces. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Greg. It's a pleasure to be here.
David, I'm pumped to have you on today because the workplace, commuting, and home health are all such hot topics. I'm getting questions from tenants about getting back to the office and the impact from COVID, as well as concerns about commuting, namely on public transportation. And since we're all home, cleaning is on everyone's mind. So I'd love to first understand your company's role during COVID.
So we work with a few different types of clients, as you pointed out. About 75% of our business is commercial. About 15 to 20% is government based, and then the rest of it is residential. Our residential is more of a post-construction. We don't do, the maid service for your house. We do post-construction for buildings to get them ready for occupancy. Or if you did a renovation, we come in, we get it back to zero so that you can then occupy your home. What we've been doing for COVID is let's roll back for a second. When the epidemic was first talked about in China, a couple of our clients were very forward thinking. And so we began to do some extra cleaning for them because their staff traveled a lot to China. So we put together a program for those clients where we were cleaning all of the high touch spaces that we would normally clean maybe twice a day, 3 times a day. We were cleaning every hour, hourly. So doors, elevator buttons, kitchens, bathrooms, from top to bottom hourly, which of course increased their costs because we had to add extra manpower. So, they were very wary of that. And then COVID hit, like full steam ahead.
David, could you help us understand the difference between a COVID clean and a regular clean for office space?
So I'll use a kitchen as an example because kitchens are highly used. So we'll start with the regular clean for a kitchen, irregular evening clean for a kitchen. So you walk into the kitchen in the evening, you wipe down the exterior of the cabinets, you wipe down the fridge door, you clean the sink, you wipe down the counters, you sweep them off the floor. That's your regular, everyday kitchen clean at the end of the day. Right. COVID clean, much different. COVID clean, you still wipe down, number one, you have to use a solution that will kill the bacteria. So first you have to clean the cabinets, and then you have to use the bleach solution. So bleach solution does not clean. You have to clean first and then disinfect. So you clean everything. You wipe down the exterior of the refrigerator doors, the exterior of the cabinets, underneath the cabinets, the lip of the sink, if the sink has a lip. Any space, any surface that is highly touched by people who are in and out of the kitchen. You have to open the refrigerator door, wipe down the shelves.
So it's just a really deep, intense. So if it's knowing what you know about cleaning, if it was your mom that was going back to work in an office, what are the questions that you would want her to be asking her building or her employer about what they're doing?
Very, very fair question. And I actually did this with my wife earlier today, so very good that you're asking me this. I would want to know, number one, do they have a thorough plan, step-by-step list of details on how they're going to clean the space? How often are they going to service the space? Are they going to provide, and this is a slightly off topic, a concierge service? So a lot of companies now are saying, you don't leave your desk, we'll provide someone who will bring your stuff to you. I don't know how they're going to do that, iPad, whatever, so that there's limited people in the kitchen space, which means contamination should be low. Do they have that? How often are they cleaning the elevators? How often are they disinfecting the elevators? How often are they going to be disinfecting high-touch surfaces such as doors? What are the plans for deep cleaning, and how often in the week will the space be deep cleaned? Those are just some of the basic questions I think we should be asking.
And then, so that's inside the office. Now let's talk about getting to the office, right? I think the two largest impediments to getting to work are transportation and the elevator, right? So transportation is twofold, right? Your commute on public transportation and then the elevator up. Let's start first with public transportation and either the role that your company is playing in that, or how we as people should be thinking about hygiene, cleanliness on public transportation, and what we should be, and either how we should be thinking about what's being done behind the scenes, or what our level of comfort should be about the cleanliness of public transportation.
Okay, so as you know, Greg, I work with MTA. I don't do the train cars, unfortunately, but I do buses, and we do some other stuff with the MTA. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying the trains are the cleanest they have ever been in the 32 years I've been in New York City. They are phenomenally clean because of the overnight cleaning service. With that said, they're doing electrostatic cleaning and they're doing UV light cleaning, both of which are very useful. However, remember that as soon as you step into a space that's been electrostatic cleaned, you've brought bacteria, so the electrostatic cleaning begins to break down almost immediately. And the more people that are on the subway or the bus or whatever, the less value of those things. So when you're traveling to work, two things that you definitely want to be cognizant of. Number one, please wear a mask. And it's not for you that you're wearing the mask, it's for the other people that you're wearing the mask. And that is one of the things that I don't think people are totally comprehending. The mask is to keep your stuff inside and to keep their stuff inside so that there are fewer droplets in the air to exchange. If you can, I would suggest wearing some goggles or glasses of some kind to protect your eyes, maybe a wraparound. Why? Because droplets sit in the air. The closer you are with people, we can't do 6 feet on subways, let's be honest. We can't do 6 feet on buses. We can't even do 3 feet. It's going to be tight as we go back to work. So it makes sense to protect yourself to the maximum. These are medically prescribed procedures that will help you as a person. Now, in terms of touching surfaces on the subway, I see a lot of people wearing rubber gloves, etc. One of the the things about wearing rubber gloves is it gives you a false sense of security. So you touch the glove to the surface, and then you touch your face, right? Or you touch the glove to the surface, and then you take your hand and you take one glove off, but then you take the hand that just came out of the glove and you touch the dirty glove. And now you put your hand to your face. So there's some common sense things that we can do to protect ourselves. You can be in a space that's relatively tight, but these things will help you protect yourself. If you see someone coughing, you want to be out of that space as soon as possible. You know, we live in a city of 8 million people, you know, and the subway usually transports about 3 million people a day. So we're talking about something that is going to be crowded, is going to be tight. So I look at subway travel the way I did when I was in Singapore. In Singapore, last time we were there, everyone wears a mask. Even before this COVID thing, it's just standard, you know, and it's just because they've had H1N1 previously. So this is how they deal with it. And their infection rate is uber low compared to the rest of the world, just because of the steps that they take as a standard rule now. So I think our lives are going to be changed dramatically, and we're just going to have to get used to putting a mask on to go to and from.
Right. If I'm a tenant that's talking about taking space, okay, taking about a lease. Like I had Jim Perot on, who's a project manager at Cressa, and he was talking about the importance of looking at the specs in a lease of cleaning. So, what are the things that tenants should be looking for as they sign the next lease that are important to pay attention to that they may have overlooked in the past?
Okay, so if the cleaning is included in the tenant's within the lease, they want to look for 3 very important things. Number 1, the regularity of a deep clean. Number 2, the explanation of what a deep clean is. Number 3, the products that they're going to be using for that deep clean. Those are the 3 most important things to me right off the bat.
With regards to the deep cleaning,
yep.
Right? How often should a deep cleaning be done?
Okay, so deep cleaning should be done minimum 3 times a week. Minimum. Okay, and that will depend on the staffing levels within that office. Right. If you're at staffing levels of 35%, you can get away with twice a week because you don't have that many people. If you're at full staff, let's say your office is 10,000 square feet, and normally you have 200 people within that space. That's a lot of people crammed into 10,000 square feet. That means you have to really deep clean that office every single day.
Right.
If you're 10,000 square feet and you're 75 people, different. You know, so what I've been trying to work with my clients is, let's look at your capacity, your staffing versus your square footage, right? If people have 1,000 square feet between their desk and the next desk, or 80 square versus 80 square feet, our cleaning regimen is going to be different. And the reason I'm doing that is cost, right? I have no desire to drown my clients in cost, and I'm sure they don't want to be drowned in cost. So what we're trying to do now is just say, hey, we think 300 square feet between people, we can do a deep clean 3 times a week. Less than that, we're going to have to do deep cleaning every day. And then we're also talking about daily, throughout the day service with these clients. If you're a smaller client, I will give you product that you can give to your staff. They just have to make sure they spray and wipe down areas that they're touching heavily. If you're a larger client, we can provide day service, throughout the day to assist you so that your staff is not worrying about stuff constantly.
Now let's just talk about if you are in a building where the landlord does not give you cleaning services. How do you get involved in the process of helping a tenant who may need your services?
So what I've been doing is we have a sort of consulting group that's a bunch of vendors, and we're speaking to clients, trying to get them to understand from the very beginning, here are the things you need. We don't care if you hire us, but here's a list of things you need from X vendors. From a cleaning point of view, here's the 20 things you need to make sure your cleaning company is providing you with, so that you know that you're getting a proper COVID clean. One of those things is electrostatic cleaning, which everyone is talking about right now, and I want to go into that a little bit deeper with you. But yeah, so that's what we're doing for clients where the landlord doesn't provide that cleaning service.
So what would you say 5 of those 20, what are the top 5 things that need to be on that list?
So the top 5 things you should be asking your cleaning people, number 1, how long they've been in business. And I'm saying that because there's been about 475 new cleaning companies since March, all claiming to be COVID specialists. How can you be a specialist in a brand new, something that we've never seen before? So that's top of mind for me, having done this before. Second thing is, how are they going to staff your project? How many people are they going to have? What is the experience of those people, etc. Third thing, what products are they going to be using? Right? You want to make sure that the product list comes from CDC. It's CDC approved, because if someone's cleaning your space with a non-CDC approved product, they might not be killing the COVID-19 virus, which is then exposing you, the client, to possible lawsuits. Right? Because if someone gets sick in your office, hey, you told me that the office was clean, and now I'm sick. So, we're trying to mitigate that stuff. So I think those are the things I would be looking at seriously. And then last but not least, do they have a schedule or a checklist of what they're going to be doing throughout the day, throughout the evening when they arrive, whatever it is they're doing for you?
How should we be thinking about cleaning our home?
Okay, so usually your home is one of the least contaminated spaces in the world, because you don't have strangers in and out of it all day. One of the couple of things that I recommend for clients, and they do this in Japan and Korea quite a bit, take your shoes off at the door, because your shoes actually carry a lot of stuff from the street on the soles. So when you get into your house, if you can take them off outside the house and have a shoe rack outside the door, great. If you can't, get a shoe rack for the front door. Let them sit for 36 hours, then you can move them into your closet or whatever. 36 hours is what they're telling me is a good duration to get rid of everything, not just COVID, but anything else that is living on the sole of your shoes. Wash your hands as soon as you get into any space, whether it be home, office, whatever. Wash your hands. Don't take for granted that, I didn't touch anything, my hands are clean. No, please wash your hands as soon as you walk in the door. You take your shoes off. Second thing you do, walk to the bathroom, walk to the kitchen, wash your hands. You do not need to use an antibacterial soap to wash your hands. Any soap is fine. And the reason for this is that COVID is a oil-rich virus. So that's why it washes off so easily off your hands when you wash with soap. Technique for washing hands: palms first, then thumbs, then join your fingers together like this, then wash up to the wrists, wash, and you're good to go. Hands are clean. Cleaning around your house. Places where you bring things that are alien to your home in and place them down. Kitchens, bathrooms. These are areas that you should pay very special attention to. Kitchen counters should be clean every day. Even if you've not cooked, kitchen counters should be clean every day. Because when you receive New Yorkers, we eat out a lot. We get packages from the delivery guy, and what's the first thing we do? Right on the kitchen counter. We have no idea where he's laid the package down, what was in his, Grubhub bag. So we need to make sure that we clean those areas very, very well. And once you've done that, Greg, to be honest, you should be very safe in your home.
Okay, great. We had talked about electrostatic cleaning. You had said electrostatic cleaning is something that you really wanted to focus on a little bit. So, for the uninitiated, what does that mean in layman's terms, and why should we care?
Okay, so electrostatic cleaning is a process where your cleaning solution is put through for lack of a better term, a gun that charges the particles of the liquid coming out, which enables those particles to attach to everything, every surface, readily. The reason why that's good is because, let's say I did an electrostatic spray of a kitchen. If I had to clean every surface of the kitchen, I really have to pay attention to it, which we do. But the electrostatic allows you to, after you've cleaned any germs, bacteria that are sitting, it clings to it and it basically strangles the virus or the bacteria. It encoats it in a bubble or droplet of water of cleaning solution that doesn't allow it to breathe, and the cleaning solution has time to work on it. One of the things that I really want to talk about electrostatic cleaning is because electrostatic cleaning is not cleaning, it's disinfecting, and there is a difference. If you electrostatic clean without cleaning first, it won't work. You had, as an example, you had coffee spill on your desk. You had, you would touch your desk all day with the oil on your hands, and I came in and I electrostatic sprayed. That didn't clean the desk. And because the desk is oily from the oils on your hand, the electrostatic process doesn't have the capability, much like the virus, to cling to that surface. It just slides right off. That's why electrostatic cleaning is disinfecting, and it's an addition to your clean, not instead of your clean, which a lot of clients are very confused about right now because, when stuff happens, buzzwords start being tossed around, and people who don't know because it's not their profession, not their job to know, just start being very confused. So that's why I wanted to talk.
So let's just take that another step further so we can be clear. The biggest confusion that clients have right now is
that electrostatic cleaning is cleaning, and it's not. It's disinfecting. So disinfecting kills virus and bacteria. Cleaning cleans all the surfaces so that the disinfectant can then do its job.
So you have to clean before you disinfect?
Correct, sir. Correct. And this adds another layer of cost to what you're doing.
So the question that if I'm a client or a potential client that I'm going to ask when I go into market for cleaning is fill in the blank.
Question you're going to ask is, if you're going to be electrostatic cleaning, which a lot of companies will tell you they're electrostatic cleaning, are you cleaning the surfaces first? That's a question. If you're a company that doesn't have electrostatic cleaning equipment because it is quite expensive, then what product are you going to be using to supplement or to replace the electrostatic clean, and are you going to be covering all of these surfaces well?
Now, I imagine in your line of work, and that this type of situation also increase your costs because it must be more challenging for you to find folks to do this work as well, correct, right? So, so can you talk about the levels of protection that you put in place for your own employees, as well as PPE, right? That's the buzzword of PPE. How do you get all this PPE? Like where does that come from?
So PPE, like electrostatic cleaning, another one of those buzz things that everyone's like, I have to have PPE. Okay, so you have different levels of PPE, and based on what you're doing, you require different levels. So nurses, doctors, anyone who's on a COVID ward, they need N95 3M, preferably mask, right? They don't need, they can't survive with just these surgical masks. They need the proper hardcore N95 mask. You then have a K95 mask. Now K95 masks are the ones that you don't have the respirator on the front. Those you can use for a regular cleaning team, etc. Then you have the surgical mask, which is what you see, the ones with the little air straps. Those you can wear on the subway because they provide a certain level, and you want to throw those out as soon as you're done with them. You don't want to wear those all day. You don't want to wear them more than 4 hours because they get very wet, and the more wet they get, the effectiveness drops dramatically. So where do I get the PPE? So when this whole thing started, I had a nice stock of about 2,000 masks, which I went through very quickly. And then getting masks was, as you know, and as the general public knows, was near impossible. So I had to order 10,000 masks from Singapore. I have because I worked in finance, I still have quite a few contacts all around the world. And a good friend of mine started doing PPE sourcing. And he's sourcing from companies in Singapore only because he doesn't trust products that come out of China. Take that for what you take it for. So he's sourcing all of his stuff from Singapore. So he called me, I called him up and I said, listen, can you help me? So he sent me hand sanitizer, which was at a premium at the time, and mask. We were paying at the time 20% premium per mask, which was, as you said, very costly. When normally you would pay $225 for a mask, you were now paying $310, $280, etc. Cost, but you have to protect your staff if you want to have people out working in the field. So what do people need? Gloves. They need gloves that fit. So we had to go out and buy gloves. Normally we would buy one size fits all, black nitrile gloves, but those are no longer available. So we had to go out and buy gloves in sizes extra small all the way through to extra large. Additional costs for all of that. We had to buy, source the mask from Singapore, source the hand sanitizer from Singapore. So everything has come up to cost. And we're just making sure that our teams have enough of the K95s, which are the less one step down from the N95, KN95s, which are one step down from the regular N95s, making sure we have enough of those in stock, because KN95s, unlike N95s, really cannot be reused. You can't wash them and none of that. Once you've used them for 6 or 7 hours, they have to be junked. So therefore, you have to make sure you have enough product to support your teams. Thermometers. We had to go out and buy the digital thermometers to test our team, have our team self-report. How are they feeling? Have any of their family been sick? As you probably well know, a lot of people in the cleaning industry are, living in households where it's multi-generational. So you have grandma, granddad, auntie, uncle, mom, dad, all in one house. And so the opportunity for COVID spread is very high. I had 2 employees, they had family members that died, so we had to put them for a month. We had to have them on not with the team. So, just stuff like that. And you just try and be as safe as possible. Key things for me: enough hand sanitizer and making sure that they wash their hands regularly, and enough K95s. When we're doing electrostatic spraying, they have to wear the suit and the respirator. So, we make sure we have enough of that stuff for everyone.
And David, you had mentioned latex gloves give a false sense of security, and then you had mentioned nitrile. So could you explain the difference between latex gloves and nitrile gloves?
Okay, so nitrile gloves tend to come in black or blue. They are thicker than latex gloves. They're usually not powder lined, so they don't irritate your skin as easily. And because it gives them a tighter fit. Nitrile gloves tend to shrink almost to your hand size, so they're much more airtight, watertight type glove. My preferred glove is a nitrile glove over a latex glove all day, because sometimes people have allergies to latex, which is why they came up with the nitrile gloves.
Understood. What are the things, I always go back to the reason I created this podcast was to help tenants, because there's so many things that they don't know about, right? So knowing what you know now about your industry, about cleaning, about living in a COVID world, what's the message that you want to share with people who haven't been able to look under the hood like you have and know that industry as intimately as you do?
I want to share wash your hands. It sounds simple, but it's the most effective way to keep yourself healthy. Wash your hands often. Hand sanitizer is great, but washing your hands is 150 million times better than rubbing your hands with hand sanitizer. Washing your hands properly, the way I described earlier.
Yep.
Just paying attention to how often you touch your face. Before this all started, I didn't realize how often I touch my face. We both wear glasses. You've seen me adjust my glasses at least 10 times in this conversation. I do that a lot. So I try and be very cognizant of not touching my face if I've not washed my hands, in terms of adjusting my glasses, in terms of scratching my nose. Just make sure you're not touching your face.
I think I heard something like the people on average touch their face somewhere between 20 and 50 times a day.
More. It's got to be more. I counted how many times I touched my face in an hour one day, and I was appalled. I had touched my face 58 times in an hour, just to adjust my glasses, sure, scratch my head, boom, boom, boom. So those are the things that, and having spoken with the people at Northwell who ran the hospital out on Staten Island that we got ready for COVID, this was one of their key points to everyone every time. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. When medical professionals tell you that's how they stay healthy, I'm going to go with that.
Fair enough. Well, first of all, David, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to share your insight. You talk about being on the front lines. You're there on the front lines, and I want to say thank you for all the work that you've done, because I know you're going into the fire.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Sorry about the technical issues.
No, quite all right. But David, no episode of Conversations with Cohen would be complete without talking a little bit about food. But I know you're a bit of an enophile, so maybe you can share with us your favorite, maybe one or two of your favorite wines, and.
Oh man, you put me on the spot. So I like wine. I don't have a particular brand that I like. I just have a particular type. So I like Malbecs from Mendoza. I find that the best ones I've had were one from 2005, and we had one, my wife and I, the other night from 2015 that was brilliant. So I'm assuming anything from Mendoza in those 2 years will satisfy your needs. And
have you ever actually been to Argentina?
Yeah. This is how we became hooked on Malbecs. My wife and I travel like a lot. And this year we're suffering because we can't go anywhere. But so we were in Mendoza 6 or 7 years ago. We did Argentina. We did north to Buenos Aires. We didn't go to Patagonia. We're saving that for another trip. So we did Salta, Mendoza, Buenos Aires. It was fantastic. And the food is
off the
The
charts.
food is, yeah. I like food too. I love food, so the food was tremendous.
So was there? So because we talk about food on this show, was there a meal that you remember, fondly from your trip to Argentina?
I'll send you pictures so you can post. So we did a on the campus, we did a ranch where they slaughtered the beef the same day, prepared it. It was absolutely stupendous. You can see I talk about it and I get misty eyed because I've not had food that good. Sausages. We had bison, we had beef. These are things that Argentina is known for. I prefer my stuff medium well. The guy convinced me to have it medium. I was a little bit reluctant, but I must say he knew what he was talking about. It was it was tremendous, tremendous, tremendous meal. And my wife and I still have a joke about that meal all the time because there was a gaucho that did a horse show for us. And the horse was absolutely tremendous. So here we were, these two gringos. Well, I'm not a gringo, but technically I'm a gringo because, I don't belong. And my wife is Asian, I'm Black, and the two of us are there, private showing, horseplay, chef cooking us food, and, just chilling on the plains of Argentina. What's better than that?
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was good. Highly recommended. I'll send you info and photos at
Please
some
do.
point in the next couple of days.
Please do. All right, David. Well, thank you so much for your time. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate you taking time to share some insight with us. And for everybody listening at home, this is the episode of Conversations with Cohen with David Wiltshire-Craine of Mr. Hudson's Cleaning. And we'll see you next time.
I appreciate it, Greg, and looking forward to us being human again, where we can actually have a glass of Malbec together.
Likewise, David. So am I.
All right. Cheers. Bye.